The Massachusetts Veterans Memorial Cemetery opened in 2001 in Agawam and is now the final resting place for more than 7,000 veterans. My colleague Jim Madigan sat down with the cemetery's director, Bill Walls, to talk about the significance of having a place to honor the veterans who are no longer with us.
I think that once you look at the sheer numbers, we serviced approximately 1,100 families last fiscal year. 800 of them being serviced in Western Mass here in Agawam. The demand for these places are tremendous, and the dignity and honor when you walk into or drive into one of these facilities, I mean, it just commands respect. And it brings about pride to have a gym like this within our community.
Let me clear up what I think may be a misunderstanding or a misconception for a lot of people. Contrary to what many think, Agawam, Winchendon, they are not national cemeteries like Arlington or the Bourne Cemetery here in Massachusetts. You're not operated by the federal government. This is run by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Department of Veterans Services.
That's correct. The National Cemetery Administration, we come up under the National Cemetery Administration, however, as a state-run facility. Of course, Arlington is an Army-run facility. But the rules that are brought down from National Cemetery Administrations are generally observed wholeheartedly by the state cemeteries. But
go ahead, sir.
As far as funding, our funding comes from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
You mentioned the words just a couple of minutes ago, and I'll bring them back because when you look at material about the cemeteries, if you look at your websites, they're called places of honor, dignity, and respect. That all adds up in a very important way. It really means a lot, doesn't it?
It means everything to our facilities and the families that are utilizing those facilities. And for each veteran who has served our country, it's the minimum that's due them.
I know you say it is hallowed ground where every day really is Memorial Day and Veterans Day.
That's correct. You know, I was, it's funny that you should mention hallowed ground. I was watching this particular station one morning, probably around 3 o'clock in the morning, got up and I couldn't sleep, and they had the Gettysburg Address on. And I listened to President Lincoln speak about hallowed ground and what made hallowed ground, that the ground is made hallowed not by the eloquent speeches or the people making those speeches, but by the headstones and by the people who are wearing the uniform of the United States of America. And those grounds are made hallowed because of those things.
Now, in fact, Veterans Day and this day, Memorial Day, are extra special, if you will, the cemeteries in Winchendon and Agawam. Tell us about the ceremony that will be observed.
Yeah, we observe ceremonies on each of the high holidays, we call them, both Veterans Day and Memorial Day. We'll have, we flagged each grave yesterday. Each grave site was flagged, and all the flags will be put up in the flag assembly. And a lot of pomp, and the veterans, and both veterans and politicians alike, will be at the ceremony, and we will each be speaking and addressing the great things our veterans have done for our nation.
I know in some of the particulars, the logistics, for a veteran of military service, there is no expense attached to their being interred. And you provide a final resting place as well, in many cases for eligible spouses, and even in some cases for children of veterans, though there is a fairly minimal fee in those cases.
Yeah, it's a nominal fee. It's $150 for cremation and interment, and $300 for a casket burial for a dependent.
And again, it's all about what you and your staff do working with veterans, their families, their spouses. And it's at one of life's most difficult and challenging times, the passing of a loved one. There must be not only a tremendous responsibility you feel, but a great satisfaction in the service you provide.
Well, it is, and I make our staff understand that we get one time to deal with these families, and we certainly want to put our best foot forward during those times. It's a difficult time for families because they're grieving and sometimes aren't as rational as they could be, but we get beyond that and bring about what needs to happen within those services. I'd just like to interject, we have a system in place wherein we send out a survey with each service that we perform, and the surveys have come back with probably a 98% approval rating. So I guess we're doing something right over there.
Very briefly, I know you're a veteran yourself, so you're taking care of brothers and sisters and their families.
Yes, I served during the Vietnam conflict, and of course it is very special, these veterans, each of them are very special to me. It's a very challenging piece, especially when you're interring young veterans, young enough to be our children, from Iraq. It's tough for any family to lose, but especially those young veterans. You know.
Well, Bill Walls, Director of the Massachusetts Veterans Memorial Cemeteries, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you for inviting us.